Hi, I'm Irene Tansman, the author of Amy and Arlene's Autism War. I'd like to talk to you today about two must-read books. This first book is You'll Like It Here, the story of Donald Vitkus, Belchertown patient 3394. And I recommend that you read this book either before or after or in conjunction with Crimes Against Humanity by Benjamin Ricci. These are two must-read books. Now, for anyone concerned with human rights and dignity, this book, Ed Orzechowski's book, is, like I said, it's a must-read. This is a biography that describes the life of Donald Vitkus. Donald Vitkus was categorized as a moron at the age of 6. He was an illegitimate child, a ward of the state, and he was mislabeled as a moron. As you read the book, you'll see that he is not really intellectually disabled. The book chronicles his experiences growing up at the Belchertown State School. And I use the term school lightly because it really wasn't a school. It was more like a warehouse institution type of a thing. The Belchertown State School was located in Western Massachusetts. Orzechowski's book his writing is very good, and he transports the reader to the unconscionable, inhumane, and nightmarish conditions in the institution from 1949 to 1960. Some of what's written in here is actually difficult to read, although it's a very important history. It's hard. It's very upsetting, and also Crimes Against Humanity. I would say yes, also. But you have to think about what it must have been like for the people who actually lived through that. So here's the story. Belchertown forces Vitkus into a slave-like position where he has to help more disabled individuals. He performs janitorial work, and he does other labor-intensive tasks. He does not get paid for any of this. And Belchertown uses Vitkus for free labor and for cruel experimentation. And his caretakers bully and torture him, and also the other people in the institution, but nobody can really do anything about it. They're powerless. Vitkus's experiences affect him throughout his life. He served in Vietnam. He had in his first marriage, fatherhood, his career. All of this stuff. All of these things suffer because of his early traumatic experiences at Belchertown. My review here could not begin to do justice to this extremely valuable accounting of a shameful and much ignored chapter in U.S. history. The history of abuse and neglect of the developmentally disabled belongs in its place in U.S. history, next to the horrifying cruelties of Black slavery and Japanese internment camps. Now, while Orzechowski's book describes this experience from inside the institution, Crimes Against Humanity discusses the advocacy going on outside of the institution to try to change what was going on within the institution. So Ricci's book shows the history of advocacy to improve conditions for the intellectually disabled through his lawsuit, Ricci versus Greenblatt. Greenblatt was the commissioner of the Massachusetts Department of Mental Health at the time, and the the Department of Mental Retardation, which is now called the Department of Developmental Services, was a subordinate department underneath the Department of Mental Health. So he actually sued the Department of Mental Health. And although the conditions for the intellectually disabled have improved as a result of the Ricci lawsuit and other lawsuits, those who have to deal with the system now will find very similar elements in the history that they're still experiencing now today. This is because what Ricci started has never actually been finished. It was Ricci's vision that those in power of the services for the intellectually disabled be actually monitored by independent oversight. That has not happened yet in Massachusetts. I don't think it's been happened. I don't think there's independent oversight in other states as well. So there are also examples of items that were an issue then that are still an issue now. I'm just going to name two of them because I could spend all day on this video telling you about all of the things that were in the lawsuit that still has a problem today, but I'm just going to mention two. He talks about, in the lawsuit, it cites that the school did not provide a speech therapy, and speech therapy is still an issue. It's an issue for adults in rehabilitation. There's a claim that they do medical model, they do speech therapy, they don't. And it's also very difficult to get speech therapy within the school setting for people under 22. They have this consultative model, a way of getting out of providing that. So that's just one example. Another example is Ricci talks a lot about deaths within the institution, unexplained deaths within the institution. And that is still an issue, very much an issue today in our highly privatized system, unexplained and premature deaths. There are many lessons to learn from these past mistakes. I hope that lawmakers, policymakers, human service providers, special educators, parents, and all concerned with social justice read these unique and masterful books. Because of their historical significance, I rate both of these books as beyond 5 stars. These are must-reads.